Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Delights X Series. Through this series we'll be chatting to and looking into the lives of various artists, musicians, producers, actors, designers, entrepreneurs and many more. My name is Cillian Dove, I am the founder of Vixlent Delights, and today I am proud to be beside a man who fits under nearly all those categories, and his name is Haizi.
I would like to be alone more. The phone rings too often.
Haizi, how are you?
Not too bad, how are you?
Yeah, good, yeah. How about them ones? Even though we're cut too, yeah. But whatever. Okay, anyway, we are set up here in Haizi's bedroom, producing station, studio, music laboratory. Your lockdown music laboratory.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Temporary, I would say.
Fair. And how was lockdown for you?
Oh man, it was busy anyway. Because I know before this I was meant to be going to Canada and I was doing so much stuff beforehand trying to get that sorted, and then lockdown happened, so had to try sort out everything then about not going to Canada. So I was here, eventually got everything sorted, then I kind of started getting stuck into music, started finally getting back to things that I couldn't have done beforehand. So it was busy in regards to Haizi, and then other stuff outside as well, just kind of mixing and stuff. But
yeah, I seen you made a couple of songs through lockdown yourself under the Haizi name.
Yeah, I did. I think the first one I put out, actually don't know, one of my own song I put out was Lost Without You. Yeah. And that was just kind of about, you know, not being able to be with the people that you want to be with, you know, because of lockdown and all, you know. Obviously I didn't want to make it just about lockdown into that, but definitely inspired by lockdown anyway. But
yeah, I think a lot of people were as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think the amount of stuff that came out, like even in Wexford, like let alone, but the amount of Irish stuff that came out, and I think it was actually good for that.
Yeah, definitely. And the second video, which everyone watching has to go and look if they haven't seen it, is the
Say So
Doja Cat, Say So remix cover.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
that was that kind of came by surprise because
I was filmed on this room though.
Yeah, that was all in this room. Things were moved around a bit different back then, but I remember during lockdown I seen another artist that I'm a big fan of at the minute called Still Woozy put out a cover of Tame Impala's one of Tame Impala's big ones, and he kind of made it, you know, kind of fun, kind of
bit of crack.
Yeah. So I said, you know, that's kind of cool, and he done a kind of similar video with just kind of him miming everything, you know, as he went along. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's a bit of fun. Then I was thinking, like, why don't I just do something like that, you know, because I have so much time. Yeah. And I was trying to think of a song for ages, and then just with TikTok and everything being so big at the time, then Say So was kind of everywhere. So I said, oh, I'll just do Say So, like, you know, it'd be funny, you know. It's a lot of kind of, I think a lot of lyrics were kind of female orientated, but I just went for it. Like, it was...
Well, man, I didn't notice that. It's hilarious. Gotta go watch it. It'll be in the description, and it's on his IGTV at Haizi. All that stuff's gonna be at the end anyway. Going back to something else now, you know, I wrote down a big list of questions here, going right back to the start. So, I've known you my whole life. We're related. For anyone out there. Other people don't, but I remember the days of you, long hair, strumming away with the guitar.
Yeah.
So, how did you get into music? All the way back then. We're going right back here.
Yeah.
So how did this happen?
Well, I guess the very first kind of my entrance to music was, I would have got a guitar when I was, God, I'm gonna say like 9 or 10 for my birthday one year, because a friend of mine back then had one as well, and I said, like, oh, you know what, I want to do that. So got a guitar and started getting lessons then in primary school, just after school, like, you know. Yeah. And done a few lessons, got a new guitar. It's actually this exact guitar.
Oh man, plug it out, get it out there.
This is a all-full guitar. It's Aloe.
It's beautiful. What a name.
Covered in dust, but it's the only acoustic guitar I have now.
It's lovely.
It's dreadful, but you know, I don't really use it that much. So, but so I got guitar lessons. Kind of eventually got a new guitar. Yeah. Then, kind of after that, just kind of started teaching myself, which was a terrible idea for me because I'm not good at teaching myself things. But then eventually I just kind of started. When I got to a stage that I was kind of comfortable playing guitar, I kind of started learning how to like sing while playing guitar, like, you know, and that was a whole other thing. But eventually started writing my own songs, which were completely different to what I do now. Like, you know, they were very like, I'm gonna say like Passenger kind of inspired and Ed Sheeran, that kind of stuff. Like, but
I remember those days, like.
Yeah, and there's actually one when I was rapping as well.
Rapping as
yeah,
well?
do you remember that? Yeah. But yeah, so I was doing that for ages, and then I said, oh, I'm going to try, like, you know, record this, like, you know, and try.
Yeah.
At the time, I just, like, thought I was going to be famous, like, you know, but.
As everyone
So-
does, I think, from the start. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Who were your inspirations from? We'll start growing up back then. Was there Passenger or
Yeah,
was it
so
like?
I guess back then I was very kind of like folk inspired, like, you know, kind
Yeah.
of folk pop with like Passenger, Ed Sheeran, like Pound on the Teeny, things like that.
Legend.
At the time, I wasn't on a level where I was even able to like replicate stuff like that, but that's who I was listening to back then. Then I guess when I kind of moved out of home and I went to Dublin, I started listening to. Actually, no, before all that, I started getting into like blues.
Yeah.
With Gary Clark Jr. and Muddy Waters, people like that. And that's when I would have got like my first electric guitar and stuff, and I was playing that kind of music. And again, I was in like not a cover band, we had some originals, but I was in a band back then with some friends. So we were doing that, and yeah, then kind of went to college, kind of got introduced to new music from the people, you know, I met up there.
Yeah.
A lot of kind of emo, kind of grungy kind of stuff.
Yeah. Totally that way. What year did you start in college then? You went to.
I went to, it was IADT in Dunleary,
Yeah.
where it was combined, like partnered with Sound Training Centre in Temple Bar,
Okay.
and that would have been 2015, I guess.
2015.
So,
How was the experience? I was up there a couple of times, which was great crack.
no, yeah, that whole course was great. It was very hands-on. You know, like again, like first time you're in the studio, it's like, you know, like whoa, you know, this is really cool. Like, you know, just seeing everything like you've seen them in movies and then to be actually in there, it's.
You feel like you're making moves or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's almost like you feel like really privileged to be in that position, like, you know. And I know in there, having access to studios, it was just amazing, and just like such a good opportunity for people who want to get into the world of kind of working in studios, and then as well like production and things like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't as based around production. It's called creative music production, but it's
It's like every college course is long.
yeah. But no, it was really worth it for me, like, because I got into engineering and mixing and things like that, so it was.
And that's what you do now, kind of sound engineering, mixing.
Yeah, so I'm kind of doing that freelance, kind of like before lockdown, like, you know, recording a few bands.
Yeah.
Whatever I could get my hands on, really. And then as soon as lockdown hit, I said I'd start just kind of mixing, because obviously I can't go to the studio or anything, so I was mixing from here, just for anyone again who I could get.
It's the way to do it, though.
And yeah, no, I was actually really loving that, because kind of working remotely it kind of suits me. I like kind of doing my own thing, not having to, you know, and I wasn't relying on anyone else, just myself. So I kind of like that.
That's me as well.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
me as well. Well, you say you worked with all these people remotely from home, even whatever it was. Is there any people that stand out to you, or big names maybe for people watching that you've worked with?
Well, over lockdown, I know the biggest one that jumps to mind was a guy called Jake Richardson. He's actually a keyboard player for a lot of kind of Irish acts, but he's kind of like there's no news or anything right now, but he's kind of putting together a lot of songs, and they're all actually really good songs that we're kind of working on. I'm mixing them and doing a little production, but mainly he's like, you know, arranging it, writing it, producing it, and he's really good at it.
Follow-up question to that would be, in the future, is there anyone that you'd like to work with, or just is there one person maybe that you just that's my aim, that's my goal, if that happened I just die happy?
I mean, right now, ever since lockdown, I kind of started getting into just Twitch, like, you know, watching Twitch. I did a bit of streaming, but I was never like massive into it or anything, but it kind of introduced me to the world of kind of people who stream kind of doing their thing. And there's one producer who like he's worked with Denzel Curry and Dominic Fike and Omar Apollo, people like that. Kenny Beats, his name is.
Shout out Kenny Beats.
Yeah, shout out Kenny Beats. You've definitely heard his like tag and start of songs, but I think he's such like a well-rounded producer. Like, obviously he focuses in like kind of rap and hip hop and trap kind of, but like he's worked with like Idols, the band Idols recently. He put out like a punk album with some other band, I forget the name, sorry. But no, like, because he kind of dips his toes in everywhere, and watching his stream, like, he's just so inspiring to listen to.
Yeah.
Like, it's not always with the music, but he's always saying, like, you know, if you're not want to do something because you're not really comfortable with it, just do it. Like, you know, you kind of have to put yourself in a situation where you're saying, like, oh shit, I have no idea what I'm doing, and then that's how you kind of learn it, like, you know, and I think that's kind of cool.
Dope thing. That's a dope like mindset to have.
Yeah,
I feel
definitely.
Like
yeah.
Not enough people have that, but then you're like, okay, if I can do this, maybe I have a better chance.
Yeah,
So.
you have to put yourself in a hot seat sometimes and just kind of just sweat until you figure it out. Like you know, just, I think that's kind of.
That's what. Wait, so if you were making a song, say 3 a.m., which is one of my favorite songs that we've made, and we'll talk about it a bit later, but do you do it in a way that, alright, I'm starting this now, it just happens, and do you sit there until it's finished like 24, 48 hours later or a week, or do you just let this build up over months and add bits to it?
Sometimes I would. Like sometimes when it just kind of flows, it flows. Like you know,
Yeah.
I'm not really on for staying up really late like at night. I'm not good at like just working through the night, if you get me.
Yeah.
Unless kind of something happens and I'm just like in a zone. Like,
Yeah.
but a lot of the time I have an idea. Either it could just be like one line of a lyric, or it could be like just a chord pattern, or even just like an idea for like a theme of a song or something like that. And I'll kind of put something down. I'll say there's a chord progression.
Yeah.
Put down a chord progression, kind of listen to it over and over again. Put some drums over it, and then I kind of leave it for a little while. I come back to it kind of every day, listen to it, and just kind of think like, okay, what can I do with this? Where can this go? And yeah, like I'm never. It's usually not kind of a case of like a day or two kind of thing with me. Anyway, again, like I have no music theory whatsoever. So for me, I have to figure a lot of things out when I'm writing songs. I'm really bad at writing lyrics, so it takes so long for me.
Okay.
I've never like make music for the intention of like blowing up or anything. It's always been like I make songs because I enjoy it, and if I like the song that I kind of make as a result of that, I put it out just because I don't want to sit on the laptop. So
I mean, well, for some, like.
yeah, I know, yeah.
You do it for the love of music. It's just passion.
Yeah,
it's pure
basically,
passion
yeah.
for you.
It's a hobby.
Yeah, I feel like that's a huge thing. If you could make it then in the future from a passion. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, if that happened, I'd
That's-
obviously be delighted. But
Yeah.
it's not something I expect to happen. Like,
Yeah.
you know, because there's people out there that put in so much work, you know, and I'm just here in my bedroom just having a bit of crack. Like, you know, so
I know. Well, then
if
again,
it happens, it happens.
happens, yeah,
If
it
not,
happens,
not
like-
this one.
So that's what we were saying about college was 2015, and you graduated 2018. 19.
I think it was 2019 because the course added an extra year at the end that was optional, and I did that. So I think it was 2019. My degree's up there. I'm not out, but
Oh, my degree is.
my degree is up there.
Okay, so somewhere in those few years, Haizi was born.
Yeah. So I think when I started college, again, like I was in a position where I was like my music taste was so all over the place. I didn't really know what I liked. I kind of liked so much of everything that I didn't know what I liked making myself.
Yeah.
And again, at that stage, I wasn't good at making anything. So, I kind of like all through college, I think first, second, third year, I was making music kind of not like nowhere near, like I'm still not doing a series, but it was nowhere near as serious as I take it now.
Okay.
But I was always making tunes and putting them out under my own like personal SoundCloud, just cob.
Yeah.
But that was never like an artist for me. It was just my music is there.
Yeah, it's
I'm just
there.
putting it out there. Yeah. And it was like, again, I don't really look back on some of that and think like, oh, that's such a good tune, because it was always kind of a stage of my life where I was kind of figuring out my taste and my sound kind of,
Yeah.
and I still am figuring out my sound, and I still change a lot, but I think back during all that I just hadn't a clue what I was doing. So, and then eventually got into third year, I think, and I had Loving with the Lights Off, LWTLO, and
Okay. I was like literally wondering what the hell that stood for.
Yeah,
It's this
I
big
know,
song,
yeah.
like what?
it's really badly mixed, so you can't actually hear it. But,
It's a banger.
yeah, so eventually I said, oh, you know what, I'm going to put this out on Spotify, like, you know, because that was just becoming more and more popular
Yeah.
at the time. It's so easy to do, so I said, I'm just going to make a name, make some kind of Instagram for myself, you know, and just do that. And
Has to be done.
came up with the name Haizi. I just wanted something that sounded kind of chill, you know.
So, not because you were hazed out.
No. And I like it 'cause I think it could like, I think the name kind of sounds like,
I think it fits your music perfectly.
yeah.
Like honestly, straight up brilliant. Well, your first song was LWTLO then.
The first one that I put out was LWTLO. I have songs out at the minute under Haizi that were made before that, and they're actually released before that as well. But on SoundCloud, the Do It For You was actually
Yeah.
made way before that, and that was out on SoundCloud under, oh god, actually I think it was under a Haizi SoundCloud, but it wasn't,
It wasn't like
no,
proper
it wasn't
what
a
you're
thing,
at now,
like,
no.
and I still have songs on that SoundCloud that are kind of like almost like acid techno. It's just weird.
I was listening today, even under the Haizi, not so much acid techno, but like no lyrics whatsoever, and having
Yeah.
7 minute like I was grooving. I was like,
Yeah, I know.
what the
Yeah,
hell,
it's
like-
weird. Like there's songs there called Viscous and Trinkets, I think
Yeah.
too. But yeah, again, like it's nothing what I make right now. And at the time, no, I loved it, you know, and I was into kind of music like that.
That's
But-
a cool evolution.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is like, and I think so much that the music that you listen to kind of inspires the music that you're making so much of the time. And I know I was even talking to a friend of mine recently about this, who's also like a mixing engineer, and we both had songs that we mixed for other people that came out the same day, and I was just listening to his, and I could tell. Like before I even listened to his song, I could tell how his drums were going to sound just based on what he listened to. The real clicky kicks, snappy snares, like you know, whereas I've been to kind of like kind of warm, thumpy kicks and like real like fat snares, like real like kind of warm snares as well. But just kind of based on what I listen to compared to what he listens to, you know, it's interesting. So
Yeah, it's deadly, man. We have people like that, and then if you can get to working together, especially with your friends, the chemistry is just like through the roof. I feel like it's just, like 10 times better.
yeah, and again, when I was in college, I was surrounded by people like who were all kind of in the same boat as me, all wanting to make music, just put things out.
Do you think that's a big thing for you then, to be always surrounded by people in that scene, or would you rather just, like you were saying before, you like to be alone making music too, or
Yeah, I
it's
think
vitally important to be surrounded by those kind of people?
I like being like around kind of like-minded people in regards to kind of, because you see them doing something and you're like, oh, that's really cool, you know, I wish I could do something like that, and you kind of just get into the head state, it was like, oh, I could do something like that, you know? So you kind of do that, and like obviously over lockdown I was making music, but I think one of the main reasons for like apart from the cover of Say So the Doja Cat, the Lost Without You song kind of came out because I was streaming on Twitch at the time, and like I was live when I was making that track, so there was a pressure on me like just to do something, and like I actually really enjoyed that, but I don't know why I haven't done it since, to be honest, but like I love having that pressure of other people around you, and you know, I have friends that are big in production, and it's definitely important to have those kind of people.
That's a big thing, like, because I feel a lot of people under the pressure of Twitch, or I know back in my days of doing random ass stuff, you feel pressurized, especially maybe YouTubers are like, oh, I'll do a video here, then and there, and then they're pressurized and producing poor content, but you're the polar opposite. You're like, I love this.
I mean, if you don't like the pressure, then I don't think you're going to make something that you like yourself. So, and like I did make, there was, like the first time I streamed I made a track. Now, it's not a bad track, it's just like a really basic kind of thing, but it wasn't hazy, like, you know. I just kind of got so caught up in my head of like, okay, I have to make something now on Twitch. So I made a song that I didn't really like, but then the next day I went on and I kind of had an idea, like a chord progression before I went on, and then I built it around that. So then I used the pressure to kind of help build something off a foundation rather than build something from scratch, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's the way to do it. Do you think in the future you'll Twitch again?
I'd like to think so, yeah. I mean, it kind of requires, like, my laptop isn't very fast and the software and all like does that, but you know, it's definitely something I enjoyed, and it's definitely something that I think was worthwhile getting into. But I'd like to kind of have a better go at it and do it properly and get it all set up properly, and maybe under Haizi rather than under my actual name, you know?
I get you. And then like switch it up for a bit of COD and like, and just
Warzone,
like, you know what I mean?
Haizi live in Warzone, yeah.
Just clutching in the good
It's like Landon Norris and just he's fucking Call of Duty, you know?
Literally, like, imagine playing with those boys.
I know, yeah.
Remember I got into like a game lobby with Bexy the rapper, like underground rapper, just
really?
playing Battlefield.
That's mad, yeah.
I felt a bit bad then, I felt pressurized, so I was like, no, I'm not good under pressure. He is.
I love that about Twitch as well. Like, I was listening to a podcast, I'm not sure if you know Tiny Mika, TNG, but Noel Miller.
I know him.
Yeah, he streams on Twitch, and he was saying on the last podcast that they put out, he was saying that someone's mom like told him that, like, you know, oh, why are you looking at that? It's stupid, like, you know, or something like that. And he was saying, like, he got her to come and like watch it, and he was like talking directly to the mom then, and he was saying, like, you know, just because when you were growing up, the idea of like having like a TV show where like the host like directly interacts with you, like, you know, that's just like, you're so narrow-minded not even to, like, you know, understand that. So don't say that your son is stupid for like actually understanding, like, here I am talking to you, like, you know, I'm talking to you through the camera right now, like, you know, and he's obviously a celebrity, like, you know, so but it's cool that, and I think even for young people being able to like interact with their like
heroes basically.
They're heroes. Like
Yeah.
like I see people on Kenny Beats like and just like they shout their name out and they're just in the chat like going mad. Like, yeah.
Right, that brings us to the next point in college, where I've worked with you on stuff like this, but Aloe Lounge. So basically an entrepreneur as well, going off sidetracking things.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So Aloe Lounge was I'll explain what it is. First of all, we get bands in, record the bands all live. They do a set all in one take. There's no overdubs, anything like that, and we do a little interview in between and film the whole thing. And it's kind of like the KEXP kind of live sessions or the Tiny Desk concert.
Okay.
If you're familiar with that, but yeah. So that started off as when I was in third year of college, we had to do a major project. So that I think it was like worth 50% of the years or something like that. Anyway. So myself and my friend at the time, who was also living with, we said we both always watched this YouTube channel called Audio Tree, which is basically the same thing. But we said, there's nothing like that in Ireland right now, so why don't we do that for a major project, And so yeah, we started getting bands in. Started off with like just friends of ours who had bands. We could get them into the studio for free, and we could make this whole video for them for free, which is obviously a lot of bands. They want that, especially now with YouTube and all being so popular. No, we started doing that, and we were doing it for free that all year, just because we were we had access to the studio for free. Yeah. Then that summer, I think we had a couple paid sessions when obviously we had to pay to get into the studio.
Yeah.
So there was definitely kind of a market there for bands wanting to get into the studio and do this. So we said we'd keep it going, and we got into fourth year, and we'd done it all through fourth year of college, which was difficult, but we done it, and obviously there wasn't much done during that, but we did get some bits done. And then just after last summer, we had a band come over from England for it who they're called Crywank. But
shout out Crywank.
Yeah, they had they were coming over for a gig, and we knew the guy putting on the gig, so we kind of worked out a deal where Killian, the other guy who was doing it with me, let them use his drum kit at the gig venue if they come into Aloe Lounge and do a session for us,
Damn.
So they came in and they're big, they've a huge cult following, they've sold millions of records, and we knew them beforehand, so it was a big deal for us. We were we were in that sweat mode, of doing things. We were not where we were comfortable, but we were doing it. So we had them in. We done such a good session with those two, and they're such lovely people as well. But we done all that, and obviously since they have a huge following, the Spotify streams for Aloe Lounge just went through the roof, and the YouTube channel grew so much, and it still is growing, basically because of theirs. And it's so great because all the other bands, the local bands that we've done now, are getting more views and they're getting more listens and all on Spotify, and that was kind of the point of Aloe Lounge to begin with, just to kind of get other bands out there,
You hit your point after what, 7 bands you've done it with, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say it was, and now a lot of it was down to luck. If we hadn't got that band in, then it wouldn't have done it, and we'd love to get more bands in, obviously still, but right now it's all up in the air.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, for sure, it was so kind of lucky, and we were so fortunate to be in that position where we knew we had the connections kind of in Dublin at the time.
It is all contacts though.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel especially when you go up to Dublin, and like you say, you're in that course, and he knew the drummer or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Did you feel then you're holy shit, I'm that guy now that's around these guys?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, in a way, of course we did, and we felt so privileged to be there, in the first place. To be with James and Dan from Crywank, they just. Everything was just so good about the session. Everything was. James was at some guitar festival in Killarney, I think it was, beforehand, and then he came up and he was like, "Oh, I'm not even that good at guitar," and he was doing all this mad shit, I was that is just crazy, and just to be in a room with people like that is just so. It was almost an honor, to be there and just be able to talk with them, just normal people, and they were so down to earth and everything.
It gives you more of a hunger as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely, and. Killian, the guy who was doing it, was the exact same, he loved every second of it. And, we still talk to them every now and again. They were on tour when lockdown started, and they were so in debt because all the gigs were cancelled, so we had all the money from the Spotify sessions that we hadn't, took out of Spotify or anything yet, so, and since most of it was coming from their content, we sent it all over to them, so Jesus, I don't know what their crack was, if they, were using that to get home or anything like that, but you know, it was the least we could do for them. Like, you know,
That's fair play, man. Yeah,
no, it was,
hats off.
You know, like, to be fair, like, it was, you know, it was their content that generated that. So
Yeah, I don't know, not much people I think could do that. Like,
Yeah.
fair play. That's Aloe Lounge. Make sure you check it out. Link and all will be below. It's honestly one of the coolest things around, especially in Ireland. Like, so. You've studied sound engineering. You're doing mixing. You've produced loads of stuff, and you write your own music, make your own music. So, do you have a preference to what you like the most?
Oh man. I love, like, I love mixing, and I love recording bands. I love being in the studio setting. The only thing is that sometimes it can be, like, I'm at a position where I can't pick what jobs I do, like, you know, I'm kind of getting everything I can do. Whereas when I'm making my own music, I'm choosing exactly what I'm making, like, you know, and obviously limited to my abilities, but I love making my own music, even though it's just kind of a hobby. I love doing that because it's kind of, I mean, it is like a form of expression for me as well. So definitely, I'd say right now it is production, even though it's just a hobby. Like mixing and everything like that, again, it is basically a hobby at the minute as well, but that's, if it's talking about career-wise, yeah, I'd love to be a mixing engineer. I'd absolutely love that. But right now, production has definitely kind of taken the kind of
Forefront, like
mixing is taking the backseat. Yeah. So production is kind of taking priority in regards to that, because I love when I'm mixing. There's not much creative control. Like, you know, you're working on other people's stuff. You're just kind of making it sound better for them. You're not changing things up. Obviously, you can suggest things and everything like that. But whereas when I'm doing my own stuff, I have full creative control over everything. If I'm like mixing then my own stuff, I can always go back and change things. Like, you know, so I like that.
That's serious, man. Love to hear that.
Yeah.
Alright. Who is Haizi? If you could describe Haizi in a sentence from where you were as a kid, picking up the guitar first, to where you are now. And if not a word, is there a message you can say? Didn't really think of this question right, so.
He's a family man and a real go-getter. No, Haizi,
Shit.
yeah, so Haizi is, you know, it's a hobby, but it's kind of my passion in, and I don't want to say personified, I don't want to come across really pretentious here, but it's kind of everything I love about music kind of put into character, I guess you'd call it, like, you know, and, you know, because I'm never going to put out something I don't like under Haizi. Obviously I'm not tied to any labels or any deals like that, so I never have any pressure on me to do anything, so it's always kind of, again, like Haizi, you know, I want, like, the music is chill, I want kind of everything about it to be chill. I don't take Instagram seriously at all. I'd love to take Instagram seriously, but I'm not good at it, so.
It's annoying.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But, yeah, like, you know, it's not a business for me, so it's just something I like to do, and I use Haizi as that vessel to do it.
Yeah.
You get me?
It's a creative escape, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Alright, man. Shit. Final question. Will we ever see long hair again?
I don't know, if another lockdown hits, maybe. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it got pretty close, but you know, I was wearing this headband here for a lot of it, so.
Oh man, it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But long hair could come back, see how I'm feeling. Or if I get really sad, I'll grow the hair, you know.
Shit, now it's kind of like, I'm not that sad. No, that's cool. Hey, listen, thanks a million for doing this.
Thank you.
First guest, and it's been a pleasure, man.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. Cool.
Hey, this is Haizi with Vixlent Delights. Thanks for watching. Check out all the upcoming videos.
Feeling kinda lost without you in my life. I need a smile.